It's another day in beautiful Moscow. About to head into the metro, take a little trip. Let's go. Mayakovskaya. See, I even use the green line. Don't have a problem with green at all. Mayakovskaya. It's a nice station, this one. The Mayakovsky station in St. Petersburg is also very nice, but this is much better. Oh, I think that's a train coming.
Осторожно, двери закрываются. Следующая станция Белорусская. Для вашей безопасности держитесь за поручни.
I've just come out of that art gallery. Ha! Fooled you. It's not an art gallery. It is in fact a metro station. Metropolitan Lenina Stanitsa Dynamo. It's pretty awesome for a metro station, I must admit. We scout around. You are here. No, you are here. Sorry. Trying to confuse you. Oh, there's a beautiful museum. Oh my god. It's a beautiful station. And the platform's nice as well. When we go back, or when I return, I'll show you the platform. It's maybe hammer and sickles and stars, and see the runner up there. I'll probably get that on my phone. You can't really see it on this. This was opened in I think it was the 30s, and it served the Central Dynamo Stadium, which used to be there, until they built this one on top of it. Well, they didn't build it on top of it, they demolished it and built this one. Down there in the 40s, they discovered spontaneous fission, nuclear fission. Two Soviet physicists were using Dynamo Station because it was the deepest metro station in Moscow at the time. They were using it to conduct observations on uranium decay. And they thought by going so deep underground, they'd cut out the sort of cosmic background radiation or whatever that didn't interfere with our observations. And one of those physicists was a fella that recommended starting the Soviet nuclear weapons program. So he was of quite some significance. Anyway, what I'm here for is to wander around Dynamo Park and see if I can see anything. There's no way I'm getting inside this one. No, we're not Bucharest or Tirana. This is Moscow. Security's a bit more tight, but I'll have a wander around. Lots of sports going on up there. Oh, guess I'm not going anywhere this side. Yeah, look at that. Lovely. This is just left like this because the Russian football season's in shutdown, of course, because of the weather, so there's no need for all this to be cleared. Oh, here's another entrance to the metro. That's the thing about the metro here, like all big metro systems. If you get out the wrong entrance, you could find yourself like away over the street and have to come back under. So a general tip, if you're in any big huge city with an extensive metro system, pay attention to what exit you're supposed to come out at if you're going in a particular direction or to a particular place, because you could find yourself not where you expect to be. So no doubt you're asking yourself, what is Dynamo or Dynamo? Well, it's a sports and fitness society that was set up in the 1920s, just over 100 years old, 101 years old actually, come to think of it. Set up in 1923 in the Soviet Union. Lots of different sports, all under one umbrella. The name Dynamo, as you might have guessed, or might not have guessed, comes from the electrical generator. Power and motion, basically, from the Greek and Latin, I think. It's like one of those little things you had in your bicycle, you know, the harder you pedalled, the brighter the light got. By the 70s there was like 40 or 50 disciplines, all under the Dynamo umbrella, ranging from the main ones like football and ice hockey and basketball, handball, volleyball, to gymnastics, boxing, you name it. 71 disciplines. The man that founded it was Iron Felix Dzerzhinsky, leader of the Cheka, and well, that's the precursor to the KGB. For most of Dynamo's history, especially during the Soviet period, its members were drawn from the NKVD or the MVD, the KGB, like basically the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Ministry for State Security, that sort of thing. And funny enough, the same thing applied to all the Dynamo societies across Eastern Europe. They seem to all follow the same pattern. They all seem to be closely affiliated with state security or internal affairs. After the end of World War II, with the Soviet occupation of Eastern Europe, Dynamo societies sprouted up all over Eastern Europe and the Warsaw Pact, Romania, East Germany, Albania, even Yugoslavia. Yeah, they were everywhere. And some of them are still going today, especially in the post-Soviet republics. They've all got a Dynamo society. Looks cracking, doesn't it? Yeah, of course it does. But before that was there, the Central Dynamo Stadium was there. And it's nothing like that, I can tell you. Like most Soviet stadiums at the time, it was just a two-tiered concrete oval bowl with 4 massive sets of floodlights shining down. I'm going to try and put a picture up somewhere so you can see what I mean. But the old one was built in 1928. And it wasn't like huge, it didn't hold an awful lot of people, it was like 40,000. But it was the home ground of Dynamo Moscow. And it was a central venue for the Dynamo Sports Society. And when something's called central at the time, that means it was important. So until the Central Lenin Stadium or the Luzhniki Stadium was built in the 50s, this was the biggest stadium in Moscow. Oh, not this one, but the old one. The old gym was closed in 2008 and finally demolished in 2011. So not that long ago. So it lasted well. But this is now the VTB Arena. VTB is a bank who I guess own it, or own Dynamo Moscow, or are major shareholders. And they've got the naming rights to the stadium. It's also still known as Dynamo Central Stadium. And it's pretty, as new modern stadiums go, it's pretty cool. It's attached with an indoor arena as well that can play, where you can play basketball. Of course, Dynamo have got a basketball team, or hockey club Dynamo Moscow play. They just roll out the ice and play there. And it's not long opened. I think it was 2018 or 2019 it opened, so it's not been open for a great deal of time. Now, I'm not one of those people that laments the past and the passage of time and say, oh, the old stadium was better. To me, the old stadium looks cooler. This is kind of generic, corporate, nothing special, nothing fancy. The world is full of stadiums like that. There's not many stadiums like the old one kicking about anymore. But I'm fairly sure all you Dynamo Moscow fans out there will be like, what the hell are you talking about, mate? I'm quite happy being comfortable out the weather, under a roof, in a nice seat. Yeah, and I can see where you're coming from. You're probably wondering, why do I care about all this? Why is my channel name Dynamo? Good question. I always called it Spartak. Joking. Let me get back over here and I'll explain a little bit. God, it's cold again. My face is frozen. Christ. Arena Plaza. There's a lot of restaurants and stuff in there. I'm going to nip in because I don't want the camera getting too cold too fast, or I'll be playing catch up all day. Be in the pocket, out the pocket, trying to keep it warm enough to film. What the hell's going on there? There doesn't seem to be any evidence of the old Central Dynamo Stadium anywhere. I was hoping there might be some steps or a pedestal or some sort of thing, but there doesn't seem to be any, unfortunately. But I'm not done yet. I'll have a wander around the back. It's a little gym, a wee outdoor gym. God, your hands must bloody stick to the metal. Need a pair of gloves for that. A wee rope climb. No thanks. It's been over a week. I've been in Russia and it's been freezing and snowy every day, and I've yet to follow my arse, and I'm hoping that continues, because some of the pavements are downright treacherous, particularly in St. Petersburg. They're treacherous. Moscow's not too bad. There are places in Moscow where I've been walking and I'm like, oof, I could feel my feet going, but I mean, I've had a few close shaves. But St. Petersburg's, every bloody street was a nightmare. It's like an assault course. I had to develop a whole new way of walking. I've noticed I'm sniffing a lot and you can hear it on the camera. I do apologise, but my nose is just running non-stop. Oh, no guns, no knives, no tasers, no spray, flags, fat smokes, bottles, banners. Don't know what that is. Oh. See what I mean? Bet you could bring all that into the old place. You could bring all that into the old stadium. In the good old days, you could bring nice and guns in, no problem. So the reason I'm here, oh, one of the reasons I'm here. As a kid, I was right into my football. Loved it. I wanted to know everything about it. Where the teams were from, why they got their names, and why there were so many teams named Dynamo. It was all a mystery. The team I supported as a lad, still do, but not to the same enthusiasm as I used to. It was Rangers FC in Scotland, Glasgow. And oh, it's the trees it's cracking. I thought it was a noise. No, it's the trees cracking in the cold. Jesus. Yeah. So Rangers have been in like quite a few European or UEFA tournament finals, but only ever managed to actually come out on top once. And the team we played on that occasion was none other than Dynamo Moscow. In the early 70s over in Spain. Funny enough, the time after that, it's another Russian team, Zenit St. Petersburg. The less said about that, the better. Can't stand them. Obviously, I was too young to see that. Rangers defeating Dynamo Moscow, but you learn about it, you've seen it on TV, and if it's the only time you've come out on top of a UEFA competition, it's kind of special. Not very special for the Dynamo fans, of course, but for me it is. So this is where it all started. Every Dynamo football club, hockey club, whatever, came from here, Moscow. And they weren't the best. As far as I'm aware, they weren't the best. I mean, they're one of the best football club there, at least football wise. From when I remember watching, or from when I remember paying an interest, late 70s, 80s, it was Dynamo Kiev, Dynamo Tbilisi, and obviously Dynamo Moscow as well, but Kiev and Tbilisi were fabulous, fabulous football teams. One day I hope to go to Tbilisi, and please God, one day you can go to Kiev as well. One day soon, if you know what I mean. That fella's Lev Yashin, Dynamo Moscow goalkeeper for 20 years. You might ask, what's he done to deserve a statue? If you're a football fan, you'll know that he done a lot. In fact, he revolutionised the position of goalkeeper in the 50s and 60s. There was no one quite like him. In those days, goalkeepers used to stand around waiting till people banging into them, just waiting till they were called upon and when they needed to do something. But Lev here, he was in total command of his whole defence, shouting and bawling at them, running out, telling them what to do. When attackers were bearing down on goal, he would run out and he would meet them face on. When high crosses would come in, he'd be right out there jumping up and collecting the ball. No one had seen anything like it. He had many nicknames: the Black Panther, the Black Cat. I think that was down to his perceived uniform, all black, but it wasn't. It was really very dark blue. But in those days, with TV and newspapers were all black and white anyway, so it appeared black. But I guess that added to his mystique. this mysterious Soviet man, all in black, doing things that nobody had ever seen before from a goalkeeper. There's very few people in a certain period of time where you can say there's no one quite like him. He was unique. No one done what he done. He was the first person to do all these things. And that made him a real footballing revolutionary. Lev Yashin, goalkeeper. One of the greats of the game of football. That thing over there, Arena Plaza, it's like a shopping mall and it's got a food court. And I do believe there's an excellent Serbian cafe. I have been bloody craving Cevapis and Pleskavicas since I was in Belgrade. Oh, since I was in Serbia. And I think they might have them here. Plus, where am I? I'm down to 2 bars already. I've barely even used the camera and I'm down to 2 bars. So I'm going in here, see if I can find it first of all, because finding stuff's a bloody pain in the arse here. If I can find it, I'm going to stuff my face, might get a beer and all. This is museum. I wonder if I can go in and see what's going on. Yeah, I'm in the museum. The origins and rise of Dynamo society. The Civil War was over, but the contest of ideas continued, including the different visions for sports in the newly established Soviet Union. On the one hand, there had remained a number of sporting organisations from before the revolution, and on the other hand, strong influence was wielded by those who argued that the new society, where everyone was equal, did not need competition. At the same time, there was Vsebush, the quickly evolving chief administration of university military training, which had been tasked since 1918 with applied military training at enterprises and educational organisations. Dynamo emerged amid heated debates among the officers of the State Political Directorate of the Moscow Military District. This was in line with the calls by the chairman of the NKVD State Political Directorate, Felix Dzerzhinsky, to pay more attention to fostering of moral and physical aspects in personal development. In the spring of 1923, the initiative to set up a sports society got approval from the leadership of Vsebush and personally from Felix Dzerzhinsky. The name for the society was proposed by Leonid Nedolya Goncharenko, head of political work at Joint State Political Directorate of the Moscow Military District and former blue-collar worker at Dynamo factory. The Dynamo Society begins to work. Proletarian physical culture, wow! Dynamo defends the right of Soviet people to their favourite sports. Well, you get the picture. That's how it was set up. It's all, I think it's all interactive. Ah, there's an English button. These are the first badges from 1923, 1927. There's the lads there. The founders and asset of MPS Dynamo. Boxing, obviously football, weightlifting and wrestlers, running, skiing. Alexander Bukharov, founder of the weightlifting section. Mikhail Sleptsov, founder of the fencing section. By the early 30s, Dynamo had developed a most powerful infrastructure, a large team of specialists, and the reputation of the union's leading sports society. On top of setting up sports clubs at plants and factories, collective and state-owned farms, Dynamo members provided them with training support and all the required sports equipment. Sporting grounds, skating rinks, shooting ranges, skiing stations were being built at factories all over the country. The amenities and recreation for workers were improved over a very short time. Dynamo members participated also in organised volunteering, helped unload cargo trains with equipment, installed new machinery at production sites. Dynamo contributed to the construction of schools and community clubs, to stowing and harvesting campaigns. Having made expansion of mass physical culture one of its priorities, the Soviet state delegated promotion of amateur sports to Dynamo. Once fitness standards of ready for labour and defence were adopted, Dynamo became the main proponent of taking these evaluation tests. By the 10-year anniversary since the launch of the pioneer movement, the role of physical education, sports and healthy recreation had become a core value for the youth. Dynamo was up to the challenge once more and started opening young Dynamo divisions nationwide. Let me reiterate to all members that the Greek dynamis means power, dynamos is motion, and dynamite is an explosive. Thus, Dynamo is power in motion, whose purpose is to blow up and tear down to dust and ashes all that is old, rotten and corrupted, that impedes the growth of all things noble, rational, pure and light. Maxim Gorky, Honourable Dynamo member, 1932. Hopefully they'll have something of the Dynamo Moscow tour of Britain in 1945. I'd like to see that if I've got some. In fact, I'm going to look for it. I don't think you can play Cardiff in 1945 as an example of how good you are. Come on, Cardiff. Yes, this was the Dynamo tour of Britain in 1945. They wanted to play Arsenal. The fame of the Cannoneers or the Gunners spread throughout Europe, and it was very prestigious to play with them. The hosts wanted the tour not to be limited to England, but to visit other parts of Britain, Scotland and Wales. So Rangers FC and Cardiff City FC appeared on the schedule. The series had to start with the London Chelsea FC. Chelsea's best period was when a Russian was in charge of them. There was a great deal of goodwill towards Dynamo when they toured Britain. They got a lot of cheers. One thing we thought was weird was that they would be out warming up and getting ready before the game, whereas our players would be in having a last cigarette and maybe a little drink beforehand. And then they presented our players with flowers, which was a bit weird as well at the time. And they came accompanied with doctors and all that, whereas we just had a guy with a sponge. Oh, there's a ticket from Chelsea. Gift presented to Dynamo Moscow by Rangers FC Glasgow, commemorating the match at Ibrox Stadium.
И восточные трибуны обновлены подтрибунные помещения, а главное, возведены 4 осветительные вышки с мощными прожекторами. «Динамо» принимает 7 игр футбольного турнира «Олимпиада». Именно здесь СССР обыграет команду Югославии и завоюет олимпийскую бронзу. В новой истории России стадион играет еще и важную культурную роль. И к 2018 году превращается в высокотехнологичный спортивный и развлекательный комплекс, сохраняя при этом исторический контур трибун. Над трибунами вознеслась оболочка новой крыши, визитная карточка новой арены. Благодаря современным системам дренажа, полива, подогрева и агромониторинга футбольное поле с натуральным газоном может использоваться круглый год. В периметре старых трибун также разместилась вторая универсальная арена, которую можно использовать для спортивных матчей или трансформировать в концертную площадку. Новый стадион – это 9-этажный комплекс, который также вмещает подземный паркинг, торговый центр «Арена Плаза» и служебные помещения. Ультрасовременная форма ВТБ-арены стала доминантой всего района, эффектно дополнив панораму Ленинградского проспекта. Бело-голубой орнамент облицовки дали уважение легендарной эмблеме «Динамо». Вечером его подчеркивает подсветка, превращая купол стадиона в яркий акцент на карте Москвы.
Just went into the museum. It's actually quite a good interactive exhibition. suckered into buying stuff. It's for my nephew, not for me. But yeah, that's really cool. I enjoyed that. Now, about those chivapis that I was supposed to have about an hour and a half ago. Let's go and see if we can find them. Oh yes. Serbian food. Blaskovica. It's a lamb and beef. Fish soup. Serbian cheese salad. And a beer. Serbian breads. Can't wait to get stuck in. Well, things have deteriorated fast when I was in there. Can't see a thing. I knew it was supposed to snow later, but I didn't think it would be now. But as I've said before, rule number one, don't trust the weather forecast here. See, I was going to take a wee wander up here. There's supposed to be something quite nice, but I don't know if I'll be able to see it. We'll have a go. This is Leningradsky Prospect. Apparently it goes all the way to St. Petersburg. Well, not anymore, but in the direction of St. Petersburg. I think it becomes Leningradsky Prospect at the Garden Road, where it's Tverskaya Street. The old trade route from Moscow to Tver, and then carrying further north towards St. Petersburg. Same thing in St. Petersburg, they've got a Moskovsky Prospect. It's basically a big straight road, supposedly, to Moscow. This has caught me a wee bit surprised. I was a wee bit longer in there eating my dinner, my lunch, than I bargained for, because it was that nice. It was really nice. If I lived near here, I think I'd be in there quite a lot. Fucking idiots. These food guys, they're as bad as they are at home, belting along in the pavements. Well, we might be able to see something here. Just on the off chance. I seen it on a map, but it was nearby the stadium, so I thought I'd give it a look. Petrovsky Footvoy Dvorets. Petrovsky Palace. Never heard of it. But that's not unusual. There's a million things, a million beautiful things in Moscow and St. Petersburg that I've never heard of. Catherine the Great ordered it to be built in the 1770s. To use as a short stopover on the road from St. Petersburg to Moscow. Like, Moscow's just down there, why do you need a stop over here? I'm guessing the roads weren't up too much and it could be quite a journey by horse and carriage, but for goodness sake, building palaces all the way, it's a bit much. It's pretty symbolic because it, again, celebrated some victory over the Turks. I mean, imagine if Russia never defeated the Turks, there'd be hardly any palaces here. Leningradsky Prospect number 40, in case you were wondering. Well, I'll take a walk around the outside. Because like I said, it's a hotel. Not all of it, I think. Like the bottom floors might be a hotel and upstairs are museums, or vice versa. I'm not entirely sure. It looks like a wee castle. That wee sand castle thing they used to build on the beach. what these big round things are. They're certainly not windows. It's constructed very quickly, apparently. Apparently the architects knew what they were doing, the builders knew what they were doing, and threw it up in a few years, which was unusual for the time. But hey, how cool is that? And you know what? I think she only stayed in it for a total of about 4 days. Not bad, huh? I'll just build a palace here and there because my arse is sore from sitting in a carriage. I mean, I'm only going about a couple of kilometres down the road. Fuck it. Another palace. Get it built. I don't know if you can see anything. The snow's getting a bit heavy. I'll walk up, see if I can get a better view up here. Yep. I knew it was going to snow today, but I thought it was going to be much later. This is surprisingly big. I thought it was only a dainty wee thing. Oh, is this bit is the hotel, is it? Hotel Petrov Palace. Well, it was originally called Petrovsky Palace. You know what else is funny? Post-revolutionary, it was given to the Soviet Air Force. And they set up canteens and workshops and print rooms and had workers staying here. I don't think they damaged it much. Well, I've got no idea if they damaged it much or not, but certainly from the outside it's not damaged. Doesn't look run down. It's been good enough to save and turn into a hotel, so it couldn't have been that badly busted up. Yeah, look, it's like a wee castle. Check it out. There's a park that goes with it. This park's separated from Dynamo Park. I mean, it's like kicking the balls away. It's not far at all. It's just down there. I know when I'm saying down there, that doesn't mean anything to you, but I'm not very good at this, as you might have noticed. The important thing is I'm trying. I'm really trying. But it's just too cold. In weather like this, I don't have the patience. Sometimes I could get my phone out and look at Wikipedia or whatever, but my hand's freezing. Nah, you're not getting a good view, are you? If there was a gate open somewhere, we'd get a good view. And there's no higher ground either. But I don't think it's worth carrying on round there. I think I better get back to the Dynamo metro station, because we're going to be walking into the snow now. Yeah, I need to get back to the metro. Get out of this. And I'm not particularly cold, like this jacket's really warm. I've got a jumper, and I've even got a base layer, merino wool base layer, so I'm fine. I'm warm. It's like your hands and your feet, they're alright. But I've just got jeans on. Alright, Dick, you've got jeans on with nothing underneath them. In St. Petersburg I had merino wool long johns on, but here I didn't feel the need. But like I said, weather changes like that. But if it didn't change, I'd be bloody roasting. So some you win, some you lose. Well, the only positive thing with the snow is the temperature actually rises. Cloud cover comes in, and the snow insulates it a wee bit, I guess, because the temperature is definitely not as cold as it was when I came out of the metro station originally for the first time. But it's getting a bit windy as well. As you can see, I think the snow drifting off the roof there. Because it's a wee bit powdery as well. It's not like thick wet snow, it's like light powdery snow. But it's meant to be quite heavy snow later on tonight. And I might go down to Red Square, because that'll be busy. It's always busy and it looks beautiful in the snow. But if it's too much, it'll just be a disaster. So, prepare for a disaster. Right, my legs are starting to get bloody cold now, they're feeling like ice. Jeans are not recommended for low temperatures and snow, so I'm better getting in this metro. Like, who's this? Maybe there's a bit of cover in here. 1847, 1941. Nikolai Gorovin Zhukovsky. Yeah, Zhukovsky. Right, I've got nothing more to say here. I've got a record of remaining upright. I've got to maintain that record. There's no way I'm leaving Russia with dirty jeans or dirty trousers or dislocated elbows or broken wrists. No way, Jose. I'll see you in the metro station. I'll show you those carvings and reliefs around the platform. And catch you in a bit. If it's not for my sniffing, it's me carrying shopping bags. It's putting you right off in it. I can quite understand that. Mute it if you don't. I'm just fucking gibbering. Whew. I don't know if you can see it, but my nose is running. If you can see it, I do apologise. I can't be helped. Right, fuck it. Signing off. Catch you in a bit. Well, I'm back at Mayakovsky Square. It looks like the snow's here as well. There's the hotel. Can't see nothing down there. I'm going to get myself a big cup of tea and a wee cake. Well, a wee pastry. Tempted to be a big pastry and a wee cup of tea. But nah. A big cup of tea and a wee pastry. That'll do nicely. And I might go back out later on. If not, catch you another time.